You are standing in a room that is crowded, loud, and suffocatingly bright, yet you feel a coldness that reaches into your very marrow. You are surrounded by voices, a cacophony of opinions, judgments, and expectations. You see their eyes. They are watching you. They are waiting for you to stumble, or worse, they are waiting for you to perform. You feel that familiar, sickening itch in your chest, the desperate, primal urge to be liked, to be understood, to be validated. You adjust your posture to fit their mold. You filter your words to soothe their ears. You become a shadow of a man, a ghost haunting your own skin, trading your soul for a nod of approval from people who do not even know their own names. The silence inside you is screaming. It is a blizzard of self-contempt. You realize in this brutal moment of clarity that you have become a beggar. You are holding out a cup, pleading for the spare change of someone else's good opinion. You are a king who has forgotten his crown and is now scrubbing the floors of those who should be following his lead. This is the awakening. This is the moment the frost cracks. You feel the weight of your own potential like a mountain pressing down on your lungs, and you realize that if you do not change, if you do not kill this version of yourself, you will die without ever having lived. You will be a footnote in a story written by cowards. The air in the room turns thin. The lights seem to dim. You are no longer listening to the chatter. You are listening to the pulse in your own neck. It is a heavy, rhythmic thrum. It is the sound of a war drum. It is the sound of a man who is finally deciding to stand up and walk out of the circus. The war is not fought on a battlefield of mud and iron. It is fought in the quiet, suffocating hours of the morning, when the world is still asleep and you are alone with your own weakness. The modern man is addicted to the drug of external validation. It is a slow-acting poison that numbs the spirit and withers the muscles of the soul. Every time you check your reflection in the eyes of others, you lose a piece of your own vision. You have been trained to be a slave to the like, the comment, and the nod. You have been domesticated. You are a wolf that has forgotten how to hunt, sitting by the table waiting for scraps of praise. But tonight, the forge is hot. The fire is white. We are going to take that soft, malleable iron of your insecurity, and we are going to thrust it into the flames. Can you feel the heat? It should hurt. It should burn away the layers of nice guy and people pleaser that you have let crust over your heart. Building power requires a total destruction of the ego that seeks comfort. Power is not given. It is forged in the furnace of isolation. You must learn to love the silence. You must learn to find your own company sufficient. When you stop seeking approval, you create a vacuum. In that vacuum, power rushes in. Think of the blade. A blade does not ask the whetstone if it is being too harsh. The blade does not ask the arm if it is being too heavy. It simply exists to cut. It is refined through friction. Your life is the friction. Every rejection you face, every lonely night you spend building your empire, every time you say no to a social gathering because your purpose demands your presence elsewhere. These are the hammer blows. The hammer strikes. It is loud. It is jarring. It vibrates through your bones. You want to stop. You want to go back to the warmth of the herd. You want to be told that you are doing enough, but you are not doing enough. You are doing what is easy. Seeking approval is the path of least resistance. It is the coward's way of navigating the world. It is an insurance policy against being judged. But a man who cannot be judged cannot be great. A man who is not willing to be the villain in someone else's story will never be the hero in his own. You must become comfortable with being misunderstood. You must become comfortable with the cold. Imagine a storm-tossed sea. The waves are towering, black, and relentless. Most men are small boats, tossed about by every wave of public opinion, desperate to stay afloat, crying out for a harbor. But you are the rock. The waves crash against you. They foam and hiss. They try to wear you down, but you do not move. You do not ask the sea to calm down. You do not ask the wind to stop blowing. You simply endure. You grow harder. You grow sharper. The salt of the struggle becomes your armor. This internal battle is a daily ritual. It is the decision to wake up and face the mirror without blinking. It is the discipline to do the work when there is no audience. Anyone can perform when the lights are on. Anyone can be a leader when they are being cheered. But what are you when the lights go out? What are you when the only person watching is the version of you that knows all your secrets? That is where power is built. In the dark, in the dirt, in the grind that no one sees. The blood in your veins is ancient. It does not understand the modern obsession with safety and inclusion. Your ancestors did not cross freezing oceans and scale jagged mountains because they wanted to be liked. They did it because they had a purpose that was larger than their fear. They lived by a code that was written in honor and sealed in blood. They knew that a man's life is short, but his reputation, his grandeur, his worth, is eternal. They did not wait for a consensus. They did not form a committee to decide if the raid was appropriate. They saw a horizon and they took it. This is the ancestral code. It is the realization that you are a sovereign entity. You are the king of your own domain, whether that domain is a boardroom, a gym, or a small apartment. Sovereignty means you take full responsibility for your results. You do not blame the economy. You do not blame your parents. You do not blame the system. A warrior knows that the system is just another terrain to be navigated. If the mountain is steep, you climb harder. If the river is deep, you swim stronger. The ancestral code demands that you stop asking for permission to exist. Stop asking for permission to be successful. Stop asking for permission to be strong. Weak men wait for the world to give them a seat at the table. Warriors build their own table in the middle of the wilderness and dare the world to challenge them. High philosophical tension is the bridge between the man you were and the man you are becoming. It is the tension of the bowstring. If the string is loose, the arrow falls at your feet. If the tension is high, the arrow flies straight and true, piercing the heart of the target. Most men live their lives with a loose string. They are flaccid. They are soft. They avoid tension because tension feels like stress. But tension is potential energy. You must tighten the string. You must hold yourself to a standard that borders on the impossible. You must become your own harshest critic and your own most loyal soldier. This is the Viking heart in a modern world. It is not about carrying an axe. It is about carrying a burden. It is about the weight of your word. When you say you will do something, it must be as certain as the rising sun. If you tell yourself you will wake at 4 to train and you hit the snooze button, you have just betrayed your king. You have committed treason against your own soul. How can you expect the world to respect you if you do not even respect your own commands? Power is built on a foundation of self-trust, and self-trust is built through 1,000 tiny victories that no one ever sees. It is the victory of the one more rep, the victory of the one more hour of study, the victory of the silent tongue when you are insulted. A powerful man does not need to roar to prove he is a lion. He simply walks into the room, and the air changes. His presence is a physical weight. That weight is the accumulation of years of discipline. It is the density of a soul that has been compressed by the pressure of its own expectations. Look back at the path you have walked. See the discarded masks. See the broken chains of what will they think. Every time you chose your purpose over their approval, you grew a layer of skin. Every time you stood your ground while others retreated, your bones became denser. This is the transmutation of suffering into strength. We are not seeking a life without pain. We are seeking a life where the pain has meaning. The beggar's pain is the pain of being ignored. The warrior's pain is the pain of growth. One is a rot, the other is a forge. You are choosing the forge. You are choosing to be the architect of your own identity. You are no longer defined by your past, by your mistakes, or by the labels society has tried to pin on your chest. You are defined by your trajectory. You are a projectile launched from the bow of your own will. And as you fly, you realize that the wind that tried to push you off course is the very thing that gives you lift. The resistance is necessary. The opposition is a gift. Without the storm, the sailor never learns the true strength of his ship. Without the enemy, the warrior never knows the sharpness of his blade. Stop viewing your critics as obstacles. View them as the sharpening stone. They are here to help you find your edge. They are here to test your resolve. If they can knock you off your path with a few words, then you never belonged on the path to begin with. But if you can look them in the eye, smile, and continue your work without a second thought, then you have achieved true power. You have become unshakable. We are moving toward the final horizon now. The sun is setting on the man you used to be. That man was a servant to the shadows. He was a creature of the herd, perpetually looking left and right to make sure he was in step. That man is dead. Leave him in the dirt. He was a necessary stage of your evolution, but he has no place in the world you are building. The world you are building is a world of substance. It is a world where a man's worth is measured by his output, his integrity, and his ability to protect what is his. This is the transition from the seeker to the builder. The seeker looks for meaning in the eyes of others. The builder creates meaning with his own hands. Power is the ability to shape reality according to your will. It is the ability to say this will be, and then make it so. It is not about dominance over others. It is about dominion over oneself. A man who has conquered himself can conquer anything. He is the master of his emotions, the captain of his mind, and the commander of his body. He does not react to the world. He responds to it. He is the thermostat, not the thermometer. He sets the temperature of the room. He defines the culture of his home. He establishes the standards of his business. He is the anchor in the storm. When others are panicking, when they are looking for someone to tell them it will be okay, they will look to you. And you will not give them platitudes. You will give them strength. You will give them a direction. You will give them the example of a man who does not break. As you stand on the edge of this new existence, feel the silence. It is not an empty silence. It is a heavy, pregnant silence. It is the silence of the mountain before the avalanche. It is the silence of the forest before the hunt. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself. You no longer feel the need to justify your choices. You are who you are, and that is enough. Your power is not a trophy to be displayed. It is a tool to be used. It is the foundation upon which you will build your legacy. What will that legacy be? Will it be a pile of likes and compliments that blow away with the first wind of time? Or will it be a monument of iron and stone? Will it be the lives you changed, the family you led, the empire you built, and the code you lived by? A man's legacy is the shadow he leaves behind after he has walked into the sun. Make your shadow long. Make it deep. Make it something that future generations can stand in when they need shelter from their own storms. The modern Viking does not fear the end. He fears a life that was lived on his knees. He fears the shame of a potential that was never realized. But you have stood up. You have picked up the hammer. You have stepped into the fire. The world will continue to scream. The voices will continue to demand your attention. They will try to pull you back into the room of bright lights and hollow laughter. But you will not go. You have found the path of the warrior heart. You have realized that power is not found in the crowd, but in the mountain. You have realized that approval is a cage and power is the key. Walk forward with your head held high, not in pride, but in purpose. Your eyes are fixed on the horizon. Your hands are steady. Your heart is iron. You are no longer seeking. You are becoming. You are the storm. You are the fire. You are the power. The silence of your strength is the most beautiful sound you have ever heard. Let it resonate. Let it fill every corner of your life. From this moment on, you do not ask. You do not plead. You do not beg. You build. You conquer. You lead. This is your birthright. This is your blood. This is your power. Stand tall. The world is waiting to see what a real man looks like. Show them. Show them the weight of a soul that has finally set itself free. Show them the power of a heart that no longer seeks permission to beat. This is your moment. This is your legacy. This is your power. Stay in the fire. Keep the steel hot. Never look back. The horizon belongs to you.